Thanks for choosing RTV News. I am Isabel Masozera. Now, before we begin this edition, let us inform you that President Paul Kagame, who is the chair of the African Union Development Agency, NEPAD, head of State Government Orientation Committee, met and held discussions with NEPAD's CEO, Nados Bekele Thomas. The discussions focused on the progress of the agency's ongoing activities. Before we continue, let us also inform you that Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has held the first diplomatic briefing on the year, which was held on occasion to exchange views on bilateral, regional, and international affairs. Also, the Minister of Defense, Major General Albert Murasira, and the Chief of Defense Staff General have received the EU delegation led by the Deputy Managing Director for Security and Defense Policy and the Director General of the EU's military staff. They held consultations on security and defense issues. Now, moving on, Rwanda Revenue Authority has announced an increase on the money that was withheld, the money that is withheld on tax meant for value-added tax refund, with the purpose of returning it to the taxpayers. Betty Mutoni brings us this report.
The meeting that gathered 100 manufacturers together with Rwanda Revenue Authority on Friday, 20th January 2023, where these manufacturers raised the issues they face in this sector, as it is explained by some of them.
Rwanda Revenue Authority tells that you should not sell on this price, but instead they give you their own price. This is not understandable at all, because you put a price according to the way things are on the market. And we pay tax willingly, but because of the increase in tax, it makes it hard for some people to pay because they're not able.
Technicians Rwanda Revenue Authority sends on the field, some of them do not understand the rules. So sometimes they result into unnecessary problems. You find some things they do is because of lack of knowledge about them. Jean-Claude Kaningondo, the Deputy Commissioner General in Rwanda Revenue Authority, noted that there are a lot of reforms being done this year in order to find the solution to the challenges faced.
Rwanda Revenue Authority is your institution. We are here to support you become fiscally compliant in every way possible. If you do have questions, if you do have challenges still in your business, please feel free to approach us, and we work together in making sure that that you are maintained in the lane of compliance as much as possible.
Private Sector Federation gathered 150 manufacturers together with Rwanda Revenue Authority, where the president of the industry cluster, Jean-Claude Gahunga, noted that they will be there to continue advocacy so that the challenges mentioned can be solved.
The first responsibility for PSF is advocacy. We are continuing where things are not well. We have administration. We are continuing to work with Rwanda Revenue to make sure that the wishes of our partners can meet on time.
Rwanda Revenue Authority noted that various discussions with different sectors, including the Prime Minister's office, have started to make sure that issues found in tax paying are solved, as it was recently mentioned by His Excellency President Paul Kagame. Betty Mutoni, RTV News.
Thank you, Betty. Now, some of the residents of Gatenga sector in Kicukiro district are asking for efforts to be made towards ensuring seamless construction processes, citing it as one of the solutions to help curb corruption, in the industry. Jessica Agasaro now reports.
In the village of Bisambu, in the Nyarurama cell, in the Gatenga sector, where most of the modern houses are being built, each building has its own permit sign, and Valence is one of the builders, ensuring that building permits are easy to obtain if you meet the requirement.
In the city of Kigali, if you have submitted all the required documents, they will give you the document without any problem. Otherwise, it will be 20 days or even a month, only if there are mistakes.
In the village of Bigo, also in the Nyarurama cell, a little below the Bisambu area, where quite a few people live. The residents say that there are many houses that have been built in violation of the law and then destroyed. It was a 3-bedroom, and I had added a small living room. They had it removed and left me with my house. Did you build the house with its document? Of course, I built my house without going to ask for a document.
It was a bridge. Then they raised the bricks and closed it with tents, and people went there. Then the sector came and destroyed it. Wherever they built with that document and destroyed.
In this chaotic construction system, the residents mentioned the bribe given to some of the leaders in the dark languages. They also say that even if you get a building permit issued by the sector, and there are some leaders who will still ignore the fact that you have all the papers and still ask for a bribe. For example, this neighbor of mine has a document that was given to him by the sector, and the cell leaders came to look at it and found that it is there, but he wanted money, and if you don't give him money, they won't allow you to keep building your house up. The executive secretary of the Gatenga sector, Mugisha Emmanuel, says that they are closely monitoring the construction issues. He added that they are going to intensify measures to follow up all the issues mentioned in the construction industry in Gatenga.
All the villagers know that they gave them the design concept according to the plan. Every resident is required to comply with the law. So those who built without documents will be removed. But I didn't know anything about the issue of corruption, and I'm going to pursue it.
Currently, if you apply for a permit to build, renovate, and if you meet the requirement, it will be granted within 21 days. Jessica Gasaro, RwandaTV News.
Moving on, Rwanda Investigation Bureau has recovered $30,000 US dollars, which was stolen by Mustafa, a house help from his employer, and he hid it in a banana plantation. Mustafa spent $2,500 on a new iPhone and also stole more money to buy himself a watch. Mustafa's employer appreciates Rwanda Investigation Bureau and related partners for ensuring the safety of residents' property, adding that it was a very insightful experience. Now, RIB spokesperson Dr. Thierry Morangira says that residents must take necessary precautions and avoid keeping their money at home. He thanks residents for collaborating with RIB and also reminded them to stop making the same mistake of keeping the money at home. Mustafa will be punished, he says, and he'll be receiving between 1 and 2 years in prison and a fine of between 100 and 300,000 Rwanda francs.
We request people to keep the money carefully and values and avoid storing it in places which are not safe. We urge the general public to embrace cashless, which removes the aspects. We thank the residents of Ruhengeri who work together with RIB to provide information to help to arrest these people. Let us continue to work together for the good of our country.
More than 1,000 hectares of forest land has been restored in Gicumbi district through the Green Gicumbi project. The people who have forests in this district of Gicumbi say that they are ready to preserve them because they understand the future benefits. Adam Squizera filed this report.
It's been 2 years ago. New forests planted in 9 sectors of the Gicumbi district, as they also restored others as well. This is a part of fighting soil erosion in this mountainous area, as that this district is ranked to be the second in the country to face disasters. Some of the residents whose those forests were afforested point the benefits they expect to have due to the production of these forests.
Then Green Gicumbi restored our forest. You can see that it's a very nice forest comparing to the last one. Before reforestation, we didn't have any benefit from it, but now we expect much production from it.
Reforestation is one of the 4 programs included in the activities of the Community's Resilience to cope with the climate change and disasters in the Green Gicumbi project, whereas 1,107 hectares of forests have been planted and others were restored in various sectors of this district, as that their goal is to reach 2,000 hectares. Rurango Felix, Director of Forest Research and Extension in Green Gicumbi, noted that they expect much production from the seeds planted comparing to the current ones.
Twakoze inyigo dusanga nibura kuri hegitari barimo basarura.
In a study we made, we found that per 1 hectare they get over 30 to 50 groves of trees, and a well-preserved forest can produce over 200 groves. Then you understand the loss residents had before. We have the market for the production, as that we are planning to coordinate investors and these residents so that they can generate profit from working with these investors, plus getting the production of their forests as well. The residents whose forests were restored for free and also got jobs in various activities of preparing seedlings and planting them. These residents were also given charcoal stoves, where above all pledged to preserve this forest since they know its benefits in the 4 years.
They told
us that the poles are coming from abroad, because for us we don't have trees for poles. Then I'm assigned to preserve my trees so that I can get poles from them, since one pole cost about 100,000 Rwandan francs, which I didn't earn before. So you understand that I have to preserve it carefully by making a daily supervision to be aware that there is no problem. Increasing the afforestation area is another key benefit for the tea processing factories, which usually needs wood for their daily activities. Currently, the Morindi tea factory were facilitated with the equipments to control the amount of tea that is processed, whereas the wood and the electricity is mainly needed in the activities of this factory. As the manager of this factory, Benjamin Yego, points out that these machines have reduced the amount of wood by 20%.
Since we installed the dryer, a savings of about, on firewood side, about 17%. Our budget figure is usually we say 360 kilos of met tea per 1 meter cube of firewood. But up to December last year, we have improved that efficiency to 422 kilos met tea per 1 meter of firewood. By using less electricity also, we are reducing pressure on the grid, and that can go back to savings all the way to the generation.
On the other hand, due to the large amount of wood used by the tea factories, there is a request for research to show whether there is another alternative that can be used in the tea factories to replace woods or support it, hence reducing the amount of deforestation. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Thank you, Adams, for that report. Now, in order to promote quality education in Rwanda, the IEE organization has collaborated with the MasterCard Foundation for a 5-year project set to benefit young people who have completed high school with good grades. The beneficiaries were sent to various schools in 30 districts to assist teachers with their daily activities. One of the beneficiaries points out the benefits of this activity.
After from what they got from their teacher, we will add our knowledge to facilitate them, as they will associate with us since we are in the same age with them.
For us, who are recently in schools, we know some of the challenges the students face. So the new thing is that we have enough information of what students really want.
The director of IEE in Rwanda, Morenzi Emmanuel, notes that this project will help children and support the government policy aimed at ensuring quality education.
These are young people that have just been in school the previous year. Same generation. They are young. They are almost of the same age. So they go to school, and the young girls who are still on the desk, they see them, and the young boys, they get to see their fellow students coming to support them. And some of them, by the way, they teach at a school where they studied. So in a bid to promote ICT, especially using the science subjects and mathematics. So we want the young children and the young students who are out there who think maths and science subjects are hard to believe, because this time round they will have someone who has been there last year, who scored high and who passed highly. So it was going to help. This person is going to serve as a mentor, as a model. This very project really integrates these young people into the society. And this helps them to know that however young they are, they have a role to play in the development of our country.
In addition, beneficiaries were given computers to facilitate their assignments, and 600 people are expected to participate in the program this year.
Welcome back on RTV News. My name is Patrick Rugira. Globally, nature photographers from around the world have been expressing their sentiments about an ever-changing planet in a contest sponsored by Nature Conservancy and an environmental not-profit organization. This story comes to us courtesy of VOA.
And now that special moment, still on RTV News, we get to find out a little bit more about our guest anchor. Now, Rwanda Revival Conference, a two-day gathering is set to convene Christians from Rwanda and beyond, will be taking place at the BK Arena on 4th of February. Now, joining me in studio is Apostle Patrick Rugira from Manifest Rwanda, and he is here to tell us a bit about what's going on. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of excitement, especially on Twitter. That is where I got to learn a little bit more about this. But I want to hear from you. What is the conference about and what is the inspiration behind it?
Thank you. So Rwanda Revival Conference is a conference. It's a Christian conference organized for all the people around the world. And specifically, we organize it in Rwanda from the 4th of February at the BK Arena, and I must say that it's going to be free entrance.
Free entrance?
It's going to be free entrance.
Anybody can be part of it?
Anybody.
And this is the first of its kind, right?
It's the first of its kind in Rwanda.
Yeah, so if it is free, I assume everybody wants to go there. What can one do to get in? Do you register?
Okay. Yes, you have to register. So
and how do you do that?
For everybody coming, it is *810 *100 hash, and then you follow the prompts, and then you just give. So the details is basically to give us an opportunity to get in touch with the people and to remind them about the conference.
Okay. So in terms of anticipating, how many people do you expect to have at this conference?
Even right now, so far, we have more than 6,500 who have registered so far.
6,500. Wow, that
have
is...
you registered though?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have registered. I needed to find out what this hype is about when I saw it on the internet. But can you just give us a sense of what people will be, having on the ground, what to expect? So,
being the first of its kind, I've been around enough to see what we need to do in terms of the church to rise up. People are spiritually hungry and they have to be fed. So we're going to have at least 3 big sessions. One is going to be prayer. There's going to really be an intense time of prayer. And then there's also going to be worship. We have some teams. There's going to be James and Daniela. There's going to be a team called Elion. I think you should check them out. They're actually awesome.
Yes.
And then also, the guest speaker is also a worshiper.
Who is the guest speaker? I might have seen a little something online, but I'll let you tell us about him.
Yes. So the main speaker is going to be Apostle Grace Lubega. He's from Phaneroo Ministries International.
And why him specifically? So
if you look around, there's been a lot of revival movements happening. And one that is actually now catching up, especially in our region, East Africa. You find that Phaneroo is one of the key movers of this revival. He's been talking about a lot about the revival that happened in Gahini in the 1930s. I don't know if you've heard.
Yes.
And then he sits now 50,000 and above in one Thursday service. That's not something you do for 8 years.
Wow.
So it's been spreading across. Now he's been, of recent, he's been in Nigeria at Wafbek, and now he's going to be
In Rwanda.
Then from here it's going to go to South Africa.
There's rumors there might be a Phaneroo in the works for Rwanda. Is there any truth to that?
We have already been here.
You have been here in a different form. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so we have what we call manifest. So Phaneroo is a Greek word for make manifest. And so the ministries around now are called manifests.
And Manifest is the one organizing this event.
So we partnered with churches because even churches are the legal entities also. So we have partnered with legal entities to organize this move. You know, it's not more about us, it's about the nation and the world. So we partnered with different churches, different forums have come up. And so if you even look at the official flyers, it's Manifest Rwanda in partnership with churches. So we are partnering with people across the world. Like now we're partnering with you on this show.
It's a pleasure having you on the show. But let's talk about prayer and let's talk about the timing of this. For so many people, when we're crossing into the year, you see people coming together as a nation to pray. You chose to do this instead at the beginning of the year. Was there intentionality in that?
I think people should not only pray because it's New Year.
Because the year is ending,
supposed to be a
crossing to the new year.
It's a thing you should do 24 hours a day. I mean, you keep your heart in check with God and say, God, I feel your presence, you're with me. He's even here right now in the studio. It doesn't have to be a special day, a special moment. So we need to bring back that moment where the believer actually feels that God is with them every time, every day, everywhere.
It seems to be sort of a sing-along when I keep hearing the messaging around this. Rwanda, rise. Rwanda, it's time to pray. And it seems like this is something that you are doing to uplift the nation. Could you expound on that?
You know, when God looks at us, he doesn't look at a nation. He looks at the world. You know, these demarcations that came in to say this is Rwanda, this is Kenya, this is that, that's our definition. But God is doing a lot of things in the world today. And I think even the season of COVID brought people now closer to God. Because I think what has happened, and we need to go back to the place where we need to introduce God to the people and let God deal with the people. And so what has happened is people have assumed to take the place of God. And we need to give the people God and let them love him the way they should, love him the way they are. And as we do that, then that's revival, because revival is simply you're bringing back people into the state they're supposed to be in the first place.
Bring back people to where they're supposed to be. Well, our time is fast spent, but will this be an annual event or is it just a one-off?
For now, God had led us to do this for this year. And I would say it's God's call.
Okay. Well, let's let God do his thing, but let's remind the good people one more time how they can register and be part of this incredible movement. So
first of all, to register, you have to do *810 *100 and #. Then you follow the prompts. And then you can also follow us. It's Manifest Rwanda. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. And then maybe lastly, we shall have a special session for pastors and ministers on the 3rd of February. So
is there a specific reason for that?
Yes, because there are messages for pastors and ministers that we have. And people can just call us, 07905 99999, and then we can give them the details of where the conference is going to be.
Okay, perfect. Well, looking forward to experiencing the man of God, Apostle Grace Lubega, who is incredible, and also all the amazing singers that are going to be there. And you're going to be there yourself, of course. All right.
Are you going to be there?
I did say
right.
registered.
All right.
Well, that's our time today. My incredible co-anchor, Patrick, it's been a pleasure. Hope we can do this again. You seemed to handle yourself seamlessly.
Thank you. I'll be here.
Okay, so when you retire from being a pastor, maybe you become an
I never retire.
Well, that's it. I am Isabel Masozera. Thanks for watching and keep it RTV.